Good morning, Monday the 3rd of November. Fix my wee hat. This is along in the Clyde here. So good morning, and wanted to share some thoughts about last night, and for those of you that tuned in and was listening, I was privileged to be speaking to Mike Delaney last night. Good morning, Jamie, I hope you're well. So last night Mike Delaney shared 45 minutes of his time with us, and we were talking about mental health and addiction and how we can take small incremental steps around about managing our mental health more effectively and looking at more effective ways to manage our stress and our concerns that we might have in these difficult times that we're in. So he mentioned meditation, and that's something that I do every day and have done for a lot of years, if and when I can remember. And wish I was there with you, my man. That'd be good to see you, buddy. And okay, so this is another thing that we do. This is another thing that I do every day, is I come down to the river and swim about, and I like being in nature. And I do believe that the cold water has a benefit for our mental health. So talking with Mike Delaney last night, I woke up, morning Marion, I hope you're well. So on talking to Mike Delaney last night, a fellow therapist, counsellor, addiction specialist with over 30 years experience, I woke up this morning to 3 messages from men that tuned in. I woke up to 3 messages this morning from men that had tuned in last night and had listened to what Mike Delaney had said, and it had touched them. And a lot of what was being said, they felt had applied to them. One of the guys was had left his phone number, and I managed to speak to him this morning. I managed to get 20 minutes of time with him as he was driving to his work, and he was in a really difficult position. He was in a really bad space. So I'm grateful that he took the time to write us a message and reach out. And we just had felt like what was just a very basic chat. We had a very basic conversation this morning for about 20 minutes when I was walking Ralph. And he gave me a brief snippet of what's going on in his life right now. And I just said to him very simply, I said, it sounds as if you're really worried. It sounds as if you're worrying. And the phone went quiet. And he went, that's what it is. That's... And he hadn't been able to name it. He hadn't been able to name the emotion that he was feeling was worry. And when in 20 minutes on the phone call, and I'm not making little of it, in 20 minutes on the phone call, I said, it sounds as if you've got a lot of worry. It's like you don't really know what's happening day to day right now with your work, and more importantly with your wife's work. It sounds as if you're carrying a lot of worry for your wife as well. And within 20 minutes of just establishing that, we figured out that what was really going on was he was in a lot of worry. He felt paralysed. The worry had started to paralyse him. He couldn't see a way out. He couldn't see a way out of his situation because he was into it. And we're going to talk later on today. We're going to talk, I put space aside to speak to him tonight when he's finished his day. But just through Mike Delaney and I having a wee catch up, a wee conversation last night, and we took 45 minutes of just discussing mental health and men's mental health and the prevalence of alcohol and substances in people's lives right now. I woke up to 3 messages for men that are struggling right now, that are in a really, really difficult position. So I'm really grateful for Mike last night coming on and talking. And more importantly, I'm really pleased that the guys took the time to send us a message. Now, Mike had said, if you're in depression, if you're in anxiety, if you're in worry, if you're in stages of stress, you've got to change your narrative. And that might sound simple when you are confined to a prevailing narrative which has got you stuck. It's very, very difficult to find a way out of that. And you've become habitualised to that mindset in a way. It's almost like the mind is stuck well and truly in that channel, okay? So, as I've said repeatedly, what works for me doesn't necessarily work for everyone else. But meditation, I was introduced to meditation early on in my recovery from drugs. Oh goodness, it was about 1993. There's wee Ralph swimming about beside us. It was a dear soul called Jessica Mabeth. I often wonder where Jessica is in the world now, but she used to lead meditation groups through in Arica. It was a bit of a far out thing to do back then in 93, was to meditate. And I find that really beneficial. I don't practice it daily. Mind you, that's not necessarily true. I guess we come down to the river most days. I wasn't here yesterday. And we meditate in the morning, and we find that the guys that come down that are with me this morning, they find that's helpful. And then we come in here and we spend 10 minutes in the river floating about, and we all find that has a benefit for our health, our mental health, because it makes us feel better for the day. It gives us a real boost for the day. And morning, Colin, how you doing? You know, Colin, you messaged me the other day there, and I'd been dreaming about you the night before. I was dreaming about you, Colin, and somebody was looking for a brickie in my dream, and I said there is only one brickie that you could use, and it's Colin Scott, right? And then I woke up and there was a message for you. It was funny. Anyway, I hope you're well, buddy. Hope your gout's feeling better. So small things, even if it's just taking yourself out for a walk, disengaging from social media, certainly disengaging from the news. We now are in a pandemic that, yes, is virus related. We're not going to get away from that. But there's a pandemic of uncertainty, a pandemic of not knowing, if we're going to have a job at the end of the month, or even at the end of the day, if our wife or our family or our son or our children's going to have a job by the end of the day, the end of the week, the end of the month. Life is changing at a dramatic pace right now, and trying to keep up with that for your emotional and mental health is very, very difficult. And if there's anything at all that we can do, as Mike Delaney said last night, do not hesitate to contact us. As I'm repeating myself, I woke up this morning at 6:10 to 3 messages for 3 men that are struggling right now, that had watched the interview with Mike Delaney last night, talking about men's mental health, why Movember, why do we wait and grow a moustache to talk about men's mental health when really it should be something that's discussed on a daily basis. Guys struggle too. It's always been a bit easier that women can get together and, you know, have a wee blether and have a wee talk and have a wee cry with one another, but that's deemed as being really inappropriate for guys. So I did speak to a guy this morning when I was walking Ralph. He had left his phone number. I texted if it was appropriate to chat with him, and we got a wee 20 minutes on the phone. And I said, it sounds as if you're really worried right now. It sounds as if you're worrying about your future with the work and what Christmas is going to look like for you and your family. And he went quiet. The phone went quiet, and he went, that's exactly what it is. I didn't realise that that's what was going on under the surface. And just being able to name it to tame it, it works. And so through November, oh, I'm going to get out of here because I've been bubbling about in here for ages. But yeah, don't hesitate to get in contact. There are services. We can signpost you to other services that are available. And do not feel like you are a burden, that you have exhausted any of your resources around you, because you're not a burden. Your story's not a burden, and you're not alone, and it's okay not to be okay. So Men's Mental Health Month, let's not make it a month, let's make it that it's a space where guys can start to feel that it's okay to open up about how they're doing and get through it. Have a fantastic day.